So this amateur, frankly, I am not sure what to make of it. At least it tries to be different, I guess. Because there's a lot within this genre that isn't really different. It's straightforward thriller and all. It wasn't too much of a thriller, to be honest. I don't know, just some things happened instantaneously, incidentally. Otherwise, it it you know even the the supposed thrilling aspects were fairly I don't know. It's like one of those things, at one point when at the end, when an arm was grabbed, by one of the assailants, and you stared at her. It's like, wow. This is the thing. I'm not sure if it's like this mostly happens in old movies or what, but this gives me the impression. I don't know. Sometimes it's like some things that don't usually happen in real life. People usually stare after such a thing. I don't know. Something else happens usually. Anyway, I don't know what it was. I don't know what this movie was. What it seems to be though is that the music was quite interesting. Quite. As in, apparently it uses some songs, both from others, but um, clearly, I think there was also background music. It was apparently composed by the director himself under a pseudonym. Um, yes, so I don't know. Yeah, the music. Other than that, though, I'm not saying it's necessarily um movie that I hate it. I just don't know what to make of it, really. It's supposed to be about amnesia, but what exactly? Is it supposed to be about? Because it doesn't exactly say much either. I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to be about. It's really weird. Usually, these sort of experimental movies aren't. They don't try to be thrillers or action movies, I guess you could say, or whatever the difference is. Yeah, they usually don't exactly try to be. So they might have a plot or not. People might say stuff or not. There's some that where there's nothing is said at all. There's once I watched the Red Turtle there, and nothing is said. I think it was called the Red Turtle at least. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know what this was about though. It had some comedy that I could notice certainly, especially when they commented about the floppy disks. I always thought yeah, yeah, they're not quite floppy either, and I never quite realized it on discs either. It's kind of strange how I don't know. I guess the disc refers to because I think it is a disc internally, but yeah, it's externally doesn't look like a disc. Uh, so I never realized it, but yeah, and then it was repeated twice to make it seem like they were on the same wavelength, I guess. I don't know what to make of it, honestly. It's a weird movie. One of those weird movies. But, I can certainly. It's not. I try to appreciate at least weird movies because they don't tend to be they don't come very often, shall we say. Mostly I watch straightforward movies that aren't very interesting. So the question is now, yeah, was this interesting or not though? Because if it was so interesting, what is interesting? So that's another question. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what it was supposed to be about. Honestly, it's just one weird incident after another. And there are some comic moments, but still not. It's by by far not obviously constant comedy or anything. And when it comes to the violence itself, I've seen worse. Sorry, I've seen more comedy in other movies, worse violence, or less so. Sometimes movies so go in one direction or another. This one did it. So this one was more airy. Um, I just don't know what to make of it. People apparently mostly seem to like it rather than not, but I'm not even sure why, even. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a weird movie. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be about. This was though the first movie I watched from this director, so maybe I'm just not familiar with what he does. I'll watch the others at some other time, and we'll see if they all make sense altogether, maybe, or such. The accountant person had such wild hair at the end there when they were in the doorway of the convent. It was so bizarre, for a moment there was that image, where he's just looking there like some sort of giraffe with his wild hair, and they all had weird poses. Yeah, but I really didn't get some things like when that guy was being repeatedly shot at the end, and he seemed to never, like it's but like I was wondering, maybe he has a bulletproof vest or something. It's just I don't get why it happened at any rate. Point is, I mean, I guess hmm. Um, I mean, I guess you could say maybe it's another potential comic moment, but I don't know. It's what kind of comedy is it? If it's comedy, um, and when it comes to that, then is the way that the characters deliver their lines part of it as well. I don't get it. I mean, I'm assuming that was deliberate, right? Because I was a bit well, I wasn't sure. Wasn't sure. Like, I mean, I never personally. I'm not sure I've never ever because never, but I think I never saw the actors before in the movie, so I wasn't sure whether it's the actors themselves who talk like that or it was made for the movie. In which case, I'm not sure why. I mean, guess why not? But yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, someone here suggested that because since I'm a bit confused about this and it's not a movie that people will just say nonsense about in reviews, which honestly is just irritating to read sometimes. Yes, people can really post nonsensical stuff, but since it's a strange movie anyway, so there's nothing straightforward that presumably they can say. Then yeah, then people have different views about it as well, and yeah, about this. This person thought that it might be to contrast between that and the outbursts that sometimes happen. I guess it certainly does when it comes to that Edward character, especially. Uh, it was quite a contrast, when the empathic police officer said, nothing, everything's going to be alright, she said, and suddenly he shoots someone and takes a hostage. So yeah, so I was wondering whether electrocution can really result in being mute and such a drastic change in personality, or at least seemingly drastic change in personality. And at least he didn't do any such thing before in the movie, because it's only a movie, and the way it ended, it made it seem like there might have been more. Because I mean, what happened to Chuck, etc. But I mean, they just obviously didn't bother, didn't want to bother. It's the thing with movies. It's Yeah, that they just leave it just flailing there. You know, so um, but you know, really, it confused me, as I say. You know, it's one of those things. I mean, sometimes I do watch so-called avant-garde movies, and you know, some of them I sort of get even more than this. And not that, you know, most of them are sort of gotten per se. They're not usually straightforward. That's the entire point. But what was even the point with this? Because, you know, as I said, it seemed like it part of it wanted to be straightforward, part of it didn't. In the end, it didn't, but it was still a bit straightforward. Well, yeah. It's the same thing. It just I don't get it really. Um, doesn't mean, you know, the sort of ending is an ending that happens in other movies as well. Other movies that are even more straightforward, but it happened in this movie, and then it's a bit bizarre in other way. And it does. Yes, yes, I know him. Like, yeah, that's all. She was even crying, so I guess she felt something. But it's always understated, like most of the movie. But still, I just don't get it. And of course, though, of course, NYPD, yeah, classic NYPD, right? I guess. At least from what I've heard, I mean, not personal experience or anything, thankfully. But yeah, classic, huh? Never anything to miss, really, when it comes to whether or not a movie is straightforward or not, yeah. NYPD remains NYPD. It's not like it was very obvious that it was, I don't know, the city was mentioned sometimes, yeah, it was, wasn't it? But, yeah, I'm not even sure what to make of this, as said, because, you know, it's honestly, I think it's the first, you know, sort of action slash thriller movie that I watched that isn't straightforward. Not even sure about most. I think all of them usually are pretty straightforward. Like, you know, they might have maybe a slightly complex story, maybe a twist or such, but not this kind of weird. So the characters with such weird demeanors, a weird storyline as well. Some of them do. Like, you know, watched one, you know, called Nadine that had comedy, but it was still straightforward. So this is the thing. Meet Joe Black also begins similarly in a cafe, but doesn't quite progress similarly.